Without further ado, welcome again to Honors Award 2020 Livestream event, and please welcome our hosts, Tom DiRenzo and Brian Graham.
Thank you very much.
Hey everybody.
Good evening. Well, this is a little strange. This is our 16th annual IIDA Northern California Honor Awards. This year has not been like any other year for us. And as a result, the award ceremony is not like going to be any other award ceremony we've done. But we are excited to finally do it, and I'm sure a lot of you are excited that you're finally seeing who the winners are going to be tonight. Brian?
Thanks, Tom. It is really unlike any other honors awards that we've been associated with. And in fact, because we're not at the Fox Theater, there are some advantages and some disadvantages to doing this virtually. Don't you think?
Absolutely. For instance, now when you want to complain about the food, you can still do that. But you have to complain to your cat because that's the only one who's really going to hear you complain this year.
This way, go ahead and talk freely and loudly amongst yourselves because we can't hear you. It's pre-recorded.
And when you win an award, you can say to your friends, you know, what praise you have for the judges for being so astute to recognize the talent in you to give you the award. And likewise, you still, if you lose the award, demean them for being a bunch of useless hacks who have no idea and certainly couldn't understand your brilliance in what you did to enter this project in the award ceremony.
This year, everyone is sitting at a platinum table.
Exactly. And at the end of the award show, you're not going to be bothered by those pesky sales reps who actually try to sell you something when all you really want to do is drink and flirt and do all the stuff that we do at the Fox Theater. Enough of those folks.
No awkward long waits for David Darling or Josh Aidlin to run down from the balcony. Come on, someone sponsor them at a table next year down front.
I've been saying that for years. Thank you. Also this year, there's a mute button. So every time I say the word which can be quite often, you won't hear it because it will be bleeped out.
IIDA is now considering the use of the copper level sponsorship for its inherent antimicrobial properties.
Exactly. Thank you, Brian. That's a very important thing, Brian. Thank you. Also, I'm a little saddened because this year, because we're doing it virtually, we won't be able to see Gary Nichols when he gets a little too happy as the night goes on, do that same old Britney Spears imitation if there's more than two people anywhere near him at any one time. So save that for next year, Gary.
I love that, though, about Gary. He's good at it. He's really good at it. I know that Gary thinks he's good at it, yes. And then finally, the great thing about this is Amazon Prime members will receive their honor awards in 2 days with free shipping.
Okay. Now that that's out of the way, let's go forward.
Should we give out an award?
I think we should, Brian. And you know what, Brian? You start.
Oh, that is so magnanimous of you. Well, our first award, everybody, is the People's Choice Award. This year's People's Choice Award, which earned 1,533 votes, is Revel for their alternative technology client in Frisco, Texas. When approaching the design for our longtime client's first move into a state that would soon house one of their global headquarters, it came with some unique challenges. The design needed to raise the bar not only in the Texas market, but also within the organization. Finding commonality between San Francisco and Frisco helped to bridge the gap and tell the narrative between the two very different locations. No example tells this story better than the full masonry brick wall that separates the reception area from the all-hands break area. This brick was selected to be an exact match of the exterior facade of the company's San Francisco headquarters and bridge the gap between the two locations. The design team from Revel is Scott Clement, Principal, Tom Tessier, Design Director and Project Manager, Jeffrey Veloso, Designer, Begay Kuhustani, Lead Project Designer, and DLR Group was the architect of record. Congratulations.
Congratulations indeed. Every year, each IIDA City Center picks a philanthropic organization with they plan to partner. Now, this year our theme is Design for Dignity, and how timely to have that design as that theme for our chapter. We'll be talking more about that and the expansion of that concept a bit later. But for now, let's just honor these different organizations and what they're doing out there to really make change in people's lives. Our city centers have connected with each of these organizations already, and they are excited about the many ways that they can personally get involved. The selected organizations are as follows. For San Francisco, Creativity Explored. In San Francisco, which was founded in 1983. They believe that all people have the ability to create and that artistic expression leads to enhanced personal wellness. They work with artists with developmental disabilities and provide them with a means to create and share their work. Creativity Explored artists gain a strong sense of self, greater independence, self-confidence, and purpose. And I'll say a little plug on there. You may want to go to their website because they sell art in there, and it is terrific, absolute terrific art. So I have a special place for those people. Brian?
Cool. In the East Bay, Side by Side operates across the Bay Area with programs in Marin, Alameda, Sonoma, and Napa counties. They work with young people ages 5 through 26 and their family members with critical services that span behavioral and mental health, early intervention in schools, LGBTQ support, transitional housing, and special education. Side by Side works with youth to teach them necessary skills to transition successfully into adulthood.
Marvelous, really marvelous. Meanwhile, up in Sacramento, we have Next Move, which has been around since 1972. Their mission is to help individuals and families with children achieve self-reliance. They provide transitional housing, clothes, hygiene kits, counseling, job searching, resume writing, bus passes. Their goal is to get families off the street, back to work, and back to a home. They support over 500 families in Sacramento. That's really, really admirable.
That's awesome. And in the North Bay, Becoming Independent, located in Santa Rosa, has been elevating human abilities since 1967. They offer an array of programs for developmentally disabled people, including education to teach life skills, health education, community connection, and social interactions. They provide support groups, physical education, and personal care. And they also help them with vocational skills, job readiness skills, and internships.
Marvelous. Meanwhile, in the Silicon Valley, we have Life Moves. It's based in Menlo Park, and they also work with homeless families and individuals to provide service and support to help get them off the street. They operate 17 facilities from Daly City to San Jose, where they provide food, shelter, and clothing to the homeless. They also provide counseling and mental health services, childcare, and job and housing assistance. They are the largest and most effective nonprofit committed to ending the cycle of homelessness in San Mateo and Santa Clara counties. So thank you to all of our city centers for getting involved. And I hope for everyone watching, if you are watching this and you're feeling a little guilty that you're not getting involved with something, well, maybe now this is the time to think about it and find something to get involved with to make this a better world. We have lots of work to do. Forums. Okay, Stephen Kalaki would kick me if I don't say something about this, but I'm really excited that the forum series is coming up again. This year, they made some exciting changes to the series by moving it to a more virtual sessions and incorporating an interactive Q&A with the audience. This year's conversation is focused once again around designing for dignity. Don't forget, all of the sessions qualify for a CEU credit. And best of all, this year, they are all absolutely free to everybody. You can explore the series, register to attend the sessions that pique your interest, and even watch the CEU accredited videos from previous years, all on the forum's webpage on our website, which is www.iidanc.org.
Well, now it is my distinct pleasure to introduce our outgoing IIDA chapter president, Lisa Bodden. Lisa?
Hi, Brian. And
Hey,
to Tom, great job so far.
looking good, Lisa.
Never thought we'd be doing this way, did we? But here we are. I would like very much to start my words this evening by giving a sincere round of thanks to the outgoing board of the Northern California chapter of IIDA. This has been one of the hardest working boards, not only because of what they would do in the normal year, but especially because of the challenges of doing everything remotely. Thanks especially to our outgoing past president, Doug Whitnable. I wouldn't be here if not for you, Doug. So thank you for all that you have done and continue to do. You are amazing. Thank you so much. And then a welcome to our incoming board. We'll say a few words later about our incoming chapter president, Yoko Ishihara, but also we'll get to reveal to you our president-elect, Verda Alexander. We are so thrilled to have Verda say yes and be part of the board executive leadership coming in this July in a few weeks. So welcome to the incoming board of directors. You guys are amazing. And now without further ado, I get to announce the student award winners. Student awards are actually very important. Some of the folks that you're going to see later started as student award winners. I'll let Tom and tell you a little bit more about that. But our first award is the $1,500 award. The winner of this award is Amanda Sutano, Art Center College of Design. Amanda's project is called Merge, and she says, after spending a lot of time volunteering and talking to people experiencing homelessness firsthand, I realized that homelessness can happen to anyone. With a 1-week time frame, we as students were challenged to create a dwelling out of simple materials and live in it for one night at school. We had a budget of $100 to use. I realized that we needed a few things to feel comfortable in an unfamiliar place when we were sleeping. One of the most important discoveries was the fact of how much a raised floor had an effect on me. The physical act of making a raised floor allowed me to feel like I'm not sleeping on the ground anymore, and this was very important. Each resident will be housed in an individual pod, the size being 8 feet by 9 feet. Each pod can fit up to 2 people, partners, or a resident inside with a pet, and will include a double bed, foot pump sink, some storage space in the form of a pegboard to allow for some personalization, and a table. Each pod is powered by an individual solar panel on the roof. It focuses on the idea of community building through social activities such as gardening, biking, and table tennis. To create a humane experience and smooth transition, the custom patio allows residents to practice in a space-efficient way. Using pegboards and walls and metal tubes, this space can transform into a garden, to bike storage, or more. This off-the-grid, solar-powered structure allows the practice of green living and provides a fast, responsive, low-budget solution to the problem of homelessness. Welcome to Merge. Well done. Beautiful project. Our next student award is the $2,500 award. The winner of this is Yulin Zhang, California College of the Arts. The project's name is Exhale Sanctuary. The Exhale Sanctuary is a prayer space at the U.S.-Mexico border where migrants seeking asylum can go to pray and meditate. The architecture is a calling to provide spiritual and emotional support for people who are in a desperate plight. They're fleeing from threats to their lives caused by corruption, gangs, and poverty in their home countries. The Exhale Sanctuary will be constructed with two parts. Two different qualities of stretchable fabrics will make the architectural skin, and a double-skinned polygonal plastic material will be used for the structure. When there are no people in prayer, the airbags are inflated in form and have better light transmission quality. Ultimately, this creates a gathering space to bring migrants together, which will allow them to meet people with similar stories and gently keep each other company. The Exhale Sanctuary is a safe space of refuge. The phenomenal light and shadow effect brings the representation of divine presence into the space. The transitional state happens between the praying and the release process. It represents a peaceful and restful mood, while with more and more people sitting or kneeling in prayer, the gravity produced will pull the strings that are connected to the airbags. Then, the airbags will be dragged back into the interior space and thus create a transitional spatial experience between light and dark, active and quiet, spacious and packed. People who are entering the space at that moment often will notice the state of the skin so they can adjust their behaviors and expectations accordingly. It's a beautiful, really thoughtful project. Well done. And the final student award is the $3,000 award. This year, the award goes to Lei Wang, San Jose State University. Project name, Paradise Health Center. In November 2019, over 14,000 residences in Paradise were destroyed by the Camp Fire. This 24,000 square foot new health center would deliver Paradise residents health care and comfort people from soul to body. This new building would rebuild both the human and natural dignity through implementing the sustainable strategies. Two sides, 2 feet thick, of rammed earth bearing walls hold the private area, protect people's privacy, and screen people against the wind. Maximum openings welcome natural light into public space and decrease the artificial light. There is a green roof, the purpose of which is to reduce carbon dioxide through biophilia. The bridge to the green roof creates a connection between the building and the community park, and it echoes nature's presence. The water feature psychologically comforts people from the wildfire threat. Look next at the floor plan. The color palette. We have a view of the family waiting room for healthcare, additional waiting areas, and finally, the exterior. Congratulations, all students. It's a wonderful thing to have you as part of our community. And it is now my pleasure to introduce to you Yoko Ishihara, our incoming chapter president. I've had the pleasure of knowing Yoko for 15 years. Though she has many more years of experience beyond that, we were at the same firm, overlapping for several years, and I got to know her as a stunningly talented designer. But beyond her design skills, Yoko has amazing people skills and great compassion and vision for what our community of designers can be. I know that our chapter is going to be handled by someone with brilliant forethought and vision for what we as a design community can bring forward. It is with great pleasure that I introduce Yoko Ishihara as the next chapter president. Welcome, Yoko.
Thank you, Lisa, so much for your kind introduction. Really appreciate it. I'd like to start by recognizing Lisa Bottom for her leadership as a chapter president this past year, for her tireless effort to advance her profession forward, and her care and passion for our community. It has been really a true pleasure to work with you, Lisa. You had welcomed me with warmth and grace, and I thank you for everything you have done for us. Thank you. Tonight is about honoring the talents and the hard work of those in our industry. It is also about celebrating our community as a whole. I'm grateful that we are surrounded with friends and colleagues who continue to produce amazing projects and inspire us all. This is the main reason I decided to move to San Francisco after school, to meet, work, and be inspired by the great thinkers and innovators within our industry. I have been part of this local industry for over 25 years now. I practically grew up as a designer in this community. I was fortunate to gain experiences working in large and small firms, workplace design, and hospitality projects. And now I have my own small practice focusing on hospitality and restaurant design, which has always been a passion of mine. During all of this time, IIDA had given me inspiration, but most importantly, its sense of home. I was born and raised in Japan and came to the United States to study interior design. At University of Cincinnati, coming from Tokyo to Cincinnati was quite a journey. Right before I was leaving Japan, my father, who originally was very much opposed to me going to abroad, told me, if you have dedication, patience, and compassion, with those three things, you can accomplish anything you want in your life. And I never forgotten those words. And I have used them as part of my professional compass. At one of the internships during the school, I was fortunate to have worked with Steve Louis, who helped establish Gensor's new Tokyo office. He was, and still is, an incredible mentor to me. Upon the graduation, my father was requesting that I return home, and I was dreading that my days in States were over. Seeing my disappointments, Steve, as a mentor, took the time to write a letter to my father, asking him to give me the chance to stay and work in States for a few years so I could maximize my learning experience. And he provided recommendations for jobs. With that, he single-handedly helped change my life forever. The reason that I tell this story is that I cannot stress enough how much my various mentors' support and generosity throughout the years have helped me grow personally and professionally. I trust that a lot of people had similar experience throughout their careers. One of the quotes from Cheryl Durst struck me a little while ago. She said, "Design is the incubator and nurturer of our community." Today, we are faced with unprecedented challenges as a whole. Contraction of our industry, financial stress, climate change, divisive politics, increasing income inequality, racial discrimination, social injustices. All of these issues were present even before the pandemic, but now have come into hyper-focus for all of us. Let's remember that in these difficult times, interior design is a profession that brings people together. We cannot do our work alone or ignore the issues. Yes, COVID has given us a restriction and new challenges, but it has not changed our belief that design should help people flourish, professionally and personally. We are a profession that inspires people to thrive, but what we do and how we elevate others. For 2020, we have several initiatives we are working based on the notion of making IIDA in Northern California a hub for the community. We are looking to develop more programs to, 1, facilitate mentorship. 2, continue to nurture the culture of innovations. And 3, provide much needed resources for training platforms for our professionals and students. I am humbled and excited to be taking this leadership role at the chapter this year. I believe that IIDA provides an incredible platform for us to grow. And this is my time to give back to the design community I grew up in and love so much. I know from my own experience that one single act of generosity from each of us can help pay it forward to another. That ultimately will help propel our industry forward. I'd like to ask you to please join us in our effort, become a member, join committees, and participate in our programs. Thank you very much for joining us today, and I hope you enjoy the show. Okay, so now we would like to take a moment to acknowledge our annual patrons. We are very grateful for your continuing partnership with IIDA Northern California chapter. This year, we also added a design patron program, and we're very happy to report that several firms have joined in. Platinum level 2, gold level Gensler, and here are silver patrons. Bronze level patrons. Nickel level patrons. And design patrons. Your support not only enables us to realize strong chapter programs, but also inspires us to continue to improve them, to connect, educate, celebrate our design community. Now our honor event sponsors: Prodigy level Principal Builders, Revolutionary level CRI, and here are the Catalyst sponsors: Radical level sponsors, Trailblazer level sponsors. We thank you all of our event sponsors for their contribution. Now we would like to recognize our amazing Honor Awards Committee, who put tireless amount of time and effort to produce this event. Here are the incredible event chairs: Bailey Morning of Herman Miller and Zoe Marsa of CRI. Thank you so much for your leadership. Amazing job. And please give a round of virtual applause for our entire honor event committees. It was truly a team effort, and we thank you all for all of your time. Okay, now I will hand this back to you, Tom and Brian.
Thank you. Brian?
Thank you.
Let's give out
Thanks,
some
Tom.
awards.
Yeah, let's do that. So this year, everybody, we had over 111 submissions from 50 design firms. It was a great turnout. And we had a very distinguished group doing the judging. The jurors this year were Scott Heidman, Director of Design, Interior Architecture with HNTB Corporation in Kansas City; Isabel Talbot, Principal with Ray in Toronto, Canada; Sarah Agrest, Design Director with Spectre Group in New York; Stanley Felderman, Partner with Felderman Keating and Associates in Los Angeles; and Lucas Martin, Senior Director, Design with Common Grounds Workspace in New York.
Marvelous. I, of course, got to sit in on the judging and to observe their discussions and back and forth. And they really were an amazing bunch of people. It was very design-centric. These are all practicing designers, and I think their insights into what everyone has done. And they had a hard time of it, because you could see even with projects that they weren't totally thrilled about. They got it. They got what people were doing. And that's nice to see that appreciation. I have to add a personal note to this. Lucas Martin, cute as he is, 16 years ago, Lucas was the first student award winner that we had when we first did the honor awards. Now, 16 years later, he's not only a major member of our community and quite a contributor to all we do, but he's also now a judge. So I have a great sense of personal pride in that. And I'd say for all you students out there who are watching, keep that in mind. You can go very far in our profession. There's a lot you can do. And part of it is indeed knowing when you are asked to give back to that profession and add to it in that sense. So Lucas, it was just a personal thrill to have you part of this. Okay. Now, let's look at some awards. We have a new award this year that we haven't given out before. It's called Craft. And this came about because very often we would look at projects and there'd be a certain element in the project that really stood out. It was something that was made that never existed before. And we decided it was time to start honoring that, because that is an essential part of what the design process is about. It's really the collaboration between the designer and the craftsperson or the fabricator. Entries may include, but are not limited to, such functional or decorative elements as ceilings, stairways, wall treatments, work settings, furniture, and lighting. And this year we had over 20 entries, which we felt very encouraged about. The first time out, we had that many people who were eager to show their wares, literally and figuratively. The finalists are Cake Bread, BCV Architecture and Interiors, Edgewood Tahoe Resort, HBA, Embarcadero Center Lobbies, Gensler, Hilton Guadalajara Midtown, HBA, and the honor award for craft goes to Gensler for the Embarcadero Center Lobbies. The core wrap, one Embarcadero Center lobby. Rather than burying the past, we chose to veil the brutalist core of an historical resource office tower with a wrap of concrete ribbons developed in collaboration with fabricators Concrete Works. The twisting forms of the GFRC strands that form the integral bench were resolved through computer modeling. Each form was studied in virtual reality and through a series of full-scale mock-ups reviewed in Concrete Works' Alameda workshop. It's a lot of work. The nearly 300 individual cast ribbons stand 1 inch apart from each other, creating a transparent layer through which to view the original fluted concrete core and superstructure. Just stunning, just stunning. From the judges, this showed a perfect balance of sophistication and simplicity at the same time. Design team, Doug Zucker, principal in charge, Batya Kashette, design lead, she was the design lead, Craig Slavsky, design manager, John Bender, senior project architect, Bill Kafer, technical project architect, Luda Ho, project architect, Carolyn Duncan, designer, Jim Ping, designer, and Alan Sinclair, graphics and signage lead designer. Beautiful, beautiful project.
It really is. Next up is the Longview Award. These are projects that design with the future in mind and have an emphasis on timeless design and minimal environmental impact. The finalists are AstraZeneca, South San Francisco by HOK, CBE Livable Building by HGA, DPR Sacramento by Smith Group, and Edgewood Tahoe Resort by HBA. And the honor award goes to HBA for the Edgewood Tahoe Resort. From an interior design perspective, we seized every opportunity to salvage waste and repurpose it through art and architecture to support the historical narrative of the hotel and its legacy. Trees removed from the site were cut into slices for wall art, and small logs displayed in guest rooms to complement the fireplaces. An old boating dock was removed from the lake, and its moss-covered wood was incorporated into a living screen element in the reception area. However, these efforts pale in comparison to the sustainable contributions that were already well underway at the time we joined the project. The Lake Tahoe Basin is a notoriously anti-development community. Working with Design Workshop and various civil, environmental, and water engineers, we developed a menu of water quality improvements to be incorporated into a remodeling of the existing golf course. These include changes in stream courses and shapes, improving holding ponds, thoughtful landscaping, and grading. Judges' comments included a very compelling and creative design story. We love how their mission was to think about climate change into the future and achieve it by using local materials. The design team consisted of Brooke Kopani, Senior Associate and Lead Interior Designer with HBA, Natalie Reeve Davidson, Associate and Lead Interior Designer with HBA, Rich Kennard, Associate and Lead Interior Designer with HBA, Rich Carr, Principal with CCY Architects, Robin Schiller, Principal with CCY Architects, Richard Shaw, Principal Landscape Architect with Design Workshop, and Ben Fish, Landscape Architect with Design Workshop. Wow. Congratulations.
Yeah, I know we're all thinking we'd love to be there. We'd like to just get out of town and go to that place. It's just so gorgeous.
I think we'd love to be really anywhere.
Exactly. Exactly, Brian.
Sure.
Well, speaking of which, the next category is live. Any place we call home. And we know that well, don't we? Homes, condominiums, townhouses, apartments, mobile homes, or houseboats. I don't think we've ever given an award for a mobile home. So please, somebody out there, here's a design challenge for you. Do something with a mobile home. That's what I want to see. Full or partial renovations, acceptable. The finalists are Terrace House by Adlin Darling, Interlock House, CCS Architecture, The Sanctuary, Feldman Architecture. And the honor award goes to Feldman Architecture for The Sanctuary. The Sanctuary is sited quietly behind the large heritage oak tree with its canopy stretching across the generously sized front yard. After passing its branches, guests are led through a series of courtyards and view gardens that weave through the undulating footprint of the building. Each interior space is paired with its own landscape moment, allowing the architecture and landscape to flow into each other. 3 pavilions span the depth of the lot. The thoughtfully placed second-story apartment is designed for rentals. Below, board-formed concrete walls serve as organizing elements in the main residence, which separate private from public areas. The design features its many hidden courtyards, inviting guests to experience the same sense of wonder that first drew our clients to this urban oasis. From the judges, this was a clear modernist project. The nod towards a mid-century aesthetic was carried inside and out, giving this space a sense of intimacy and expansiveness. The design team, Ty Ikagama, partner in charge, Kevin Barden, job captain, and Lindsay Theobald, director of interiors. Beautiful, beautiful place.
Great project. Next up is serve. These are the places where we meet. Well, we used to anyway. These are public spaces, libraries, schools, non-office governmental, transportation centers, places of worships, and museums. The finalists are 100 Pringle by Brereton, 181 Fremont by DES Architects and Engineers, Embarcadero Center Lobbies by Gensler, and Spear Street Take 3 by Brereton. And the honor award goes to Gensler for their Embarcadero Center lobbies. By rethinking the approach and circulation of the building's retail podium, a previously obscured office lobby is revealed. A clear line of sight to the tower's reception desk alleviates visitor confusion. Guests are drawn in by a glowing veil of white concrete ribbons which drape over the existing brutalist structure. A double-height dark sleeve creates a strong visual connection through the building, giving the lobby a presence on Sacramento Street. Nearly doubling the lobby area alleviates morning traffic jams and provides waiting spaces for visitors, and adding turnstiles reinforces building security. From the judges, the approach to the project on both a micro and a macro level was really striking, especially considering how many historic design elements they had to work around. Congratulations.
Our next category is a timely one. It's HEAL, where we flourish. Hospitals, medical facilities, clinics, assisted living, laboratories. And I'll say that regardless of who wins this or gets recognized, the real winners, the people we have to really honor, are the people who work in all of those places all over our country, who are working triple time to keep people alive and healthy. And those people really, we owe them a lot. And those are winners more than anything. And I think even the people who are in this category would agree with that. The finalists are AstraZeneca, South San Francisco site, HOK. Community Hub for Health, HGA. Stanford Healthcare Linear Accelerator 16, Taylor Design. University of Southern California Michelson Center for Convergent Bioscience, HOK. And the honor award goes to HOK for the University of Southern California Michelson Center for Convergent Bioscience. The University of Southern California Michelson Center for Convergent Bioscience is a world-class research hub aimed at accelerating the convergence between the biosciences and engineering. The center is designed to bolster interaction among scientists, engineers, and medical researchers, creating an environment of flexible research spaces that promote the natural collision of people and ideas. Reflecting a spirit of openness and transparency, the center's laboratories are enclosed with floor-to-ceiling glass to reveal the science within. The center's finishes adopt a minimalist aesthetic, placing science at the forefront, where it belongs. Furthermore, the center is deliberately shaped to produce serendipitous encounters. I like that word. The building's 2 egress staircases, for example, have been activated to allow people to run into each other while changing floors. The center also features a seminar room, multi-purpose room, and a cafe on the ground level, and a kitchen collaboration hub on each floor. From the judges, this was a project of poetic solutions. The interaction between the existing and the new is like 2 hands intertwined. I like that. The interiors are so well integrated into the building. Design team, Paul Wolford, principal, Jessica Ginther, project designer, Jamila Valero, project architect, Daniel Harriet, senior interior designer, Kenneth Sumner, project manager, Emily Folks, lab planner, Carl Sobel, lab planner, Carl Johnson, construction administrator, and Willie Nishizawa, the landscape architect.
Next up, we've got play. These are the places where we entertain ourselves. Hotels, restaurants, theaters, spas, casinos, stores, showrooms, malls, tasting rooms, and sports arenas. The finalists in this category are Blue Bottle, Stanford by BCJ, Dandelion Chocolate Factory by Gensler, Hilton Guadalajara, Midtown by HBA, and Westdrift Manhattan Beach Autographed Collection by EDG Interior Architecture and Design. And the honor award goes to Gensler for their Dandelion Chocolate Factory. Dandelion Chocolate set down its roots in a 107-year-old structure in the heart of the Mission neighborhood. Over 28,000 square feet of raw, clean space and exposed timber structure, master quality masonry and brickwork provided the backdrop for creating an unparalleled artisan experience. Expanding from a constrained space, Dandelion Chocolate is now able to create a truly immersive experience in this busy industrial area of San Francisco, supporting the craft of artisan manufacturing. From the judges, I want to go to this space. It feels chocolatey to me. There's a warmth to it, and yet it's nutty. I can imagine myself there. Little food theme here. I think the jury maybe have gotten hungry at this particular point in the jury. The design team from Gensler includes Barry Bourbon, Principal in Charge, Design Principal; Chris Harrelson, Design Director; Kenneth Poole, Project Manager; Amy Taylor, Interior Designer; Nellie Paz, Designer; and Christine Leto, Designer.
Lovely, really lovely. It is chocolatey. Sometimes you feel like a nut and sometimes you don't, as they say. Next, workplace small. Corporate workplace environment. We talk about workplace small, it's what we're all in right now, I guess. Corporate workplace environments under 20,000 usable square feet. The finalists are ABP Capital Blitz, CBE Living Building, HGA, Rejuvenation of an Historic Powerhouse, Marcy Wong Don Logan Architects, and Zendesk Executive Briefing Center, Gensler. And the honor award goes to Blitz for ABP Capital. Central to the floor plan is an atrium with a lush garden visible from most vantage points. The core and shell by separate firm capitalizes on the SoCal climate and light. The team's solution to designing within the large glass envelope was to maintain transparency without the obstruction of solid materials. Interior walls are turned perpendicular to the long, glazed exteriors of the building, and all parallel interior surfaces are glass. A complex coordination of MEB, security, and data cabling elements are embedded into the very thin profile floor, ceiling, and walls, which also host acoustically absorbent materials, allowing the firm to maximize the interior space while keeping it free of visual obstructions. A complex design challenge was ensuring the all-glass space with wood ceilings would provide acoustically comfortable spaces without reverb or transmission. From the judges, I love how they layered the materiality. I've been doing workplace for a while, and I could picture myself working there. Coming from a judge, that's praise indeed. The design team, Seth Hanley, Principal in Charge, Lead Designer; John Hunter, Project Architect; that adorable Melissa Hanley, Furniture and Finishes; Kimberly O'Dowd, Project Management; Justin Beadle, Technical Documentation. Beautiful job, beautiful.
Very cool, very cool. Next up is work medium. These are corporate workplace environment projects, over 20,000 usable square feet, yet under 75,000 usable square feet. The finalists are Alternative Technology Client, Mountain View by Revel, Kaiser Family Foundation by BCJ, Nixon Peabody by ASD Sky, Symantec Experience Center by Gensler. And the honor award goes to Revel for their alternative technology client in Mountain View, California. We took a deep dive for our client when asked to develop a design that spoke to the company values, but was free of branded elements. Promoted collaboration, but wasn't just one big open office. Something awesome, but not cliche. We took the traditional concept for a workplace and reimagined it to become a place that transforms with ease, based on the changing needs of users, while adapting to a variety of activity-oriented spaces, ultimately enhancing productivity and promoting physical and mental well-being. From the judges, a unique and beautiful project. It takes a fresher perspective on co-working space with the contrast of materials. The design team included Scott Clement, Principal and Project Manager, Tom Tessier, Design Director, Claudette Bleisenberg, Project Architect, and Sargam Tandon, Project Designer. Congratulations.
Beautiful, absolutely. Next category, work large, because sometimes size does matter. Corporate workplace environment projects over 75,000 usable square feet. And use it all. The finalists are Lending Club, Leahy Brereton, OpenText San Mateo, HOK, Slack Headquarters, Studio O+A, SoFi Headquarters, Gensler. And the honor award goes to Studio O+A for Slack Headquarters. When Slack asked O+A to create its new multi-floor headquarters in San Francisco, one design story presented itself immediately. This is a great story. Slack CEO Stuart Butterfield is an outdoorsman, a hiker who goes off-grid every year and recharges in various types of wilderness desert, mountains, forests that make up the Pacific Coast Trail. Because that trail forms a bridge between two of Slack's offices in Vancouver and San Francisco, it seemed like a thematic link too rich to pass up. O+A's concept was to create a floor-by-floor evocation of those landscapes, in effect to turn a trip up the elevator into a virtual trip from Baja to the Pacific Northwest. The idea was to suggest not just a variety of topographical, botanical context, but to capture as well the experiential links between hiking a wilderness trail and work. From the judges, a series of moments that beautifully reflect the client. It makes a compelling story as you move through the space. It speaks Slack to me. Design team. Primo Orpia, Principal. Dan Kretschmer, another great guy. Designer of projects. Danny Capella, Millie Kwong, Senior Designers. Brianna Bernstein, Project Designer. Amy Kwok, Project Designer. Nikki Hall, Designer. Marbell Padilla, Project Designer. Amy Young, Project Designer, Brand. Chase Hunt, Project Designer. Elizabeth Veriker, Project Designer, Brand, Design Director, Brand. George Craigmile, Designer. Emily Cano, Project Designer. Samantha Calabrese, 3D Design, and Alex Batista, Technical Designer.
Okay, folks, now it's time for the big one. Easy, Tom. Our best of show. One project chosen by the jury to exemplify the best overall design of all the entries. And this year's best of show goes to Gensler for their Embarcadero Center lobbies. The Embarcadero Center towers have long been icons of the San Francisco skyline. Designed and built between 1968 and 1983 by notable futurist John Portman, the Embarcadero Centers were a jewel of the city within a city movement which Portman pioneered. Although groundbreaking at the time, the building's architecture struggles to meet the demands of today's current market. We were tasked by the client to modernize and enlarge the office tower's lobby to appeal to a wider range of tenants and to resolve the clarity of circulation issues experienced by newcomers to the building. from the judges. I got the chills looking at this project. If design can still move me, then I know that I am still in the right profession. That's high praise indeed.
I love that.
So
And
congratulations.
Yes. That last quote is from Lucas Martin, so I especially touched by that. Well, that is the award ceremony, my friends. Now, as we said earlier, that our theme for our chapter this year is Design with Dignity, to which we have to add equity, justice, and inclusion. And none of us have any of those until all of us have all of them, which means we all have to work together to make that happen. Two words I've heard in the last few months as I've been going to webinars and discussions and emails and all this stuff. Two words come up again and again: reset and humanity. And I think these two words can be our touchstones for what we need to do as a profession to move forward. Health professionals can keep us healthy and safe and work to keep us alive. Design professionals can help show us how to live and move forward, which we have to do in these very, very troubled times. So that's the challenge. I could say other things, but you know what? I think the eloquence of Lisa and Yoko were so staggering that I wouldn't even try to summarize what they said. It was so beautiful. Once in a while, not always, people get the precedents that they need, not currently in the White House in Washington, but our chapter certainly has. In both Lisa and now Yoko, they are exactly the people we need at this time, and I could not be more thrilled. Lastly, part of being a good designer is being a good citizen, which means you have to vote. This year, vote like your equality, your democracy, the climate, the Supreme Court, and the very core of what America is about. Your life is at stake because it really, really is this time. So you better get out there and friggin' vote. Okay? Okay, Brian, Lisa, Yoko, and closing remarks from you all.
Just want to thank everyone for their patience, especially our patrons and our event sponsors who really have gone the extra mile with us. Can't thank you enough. And I'm also thrilled to be handing the baton to such a capable, visionary designer in Yoko. And you guys, you're always funny. We love you. Thanks for doing this again. Next year in person.
Can't do it up, Brian.
I just would like to recognize Tom Dorenzo and Brian Graham for being our amazing hosts for so many years. And this year has been particularly important to have stability, same fun that we had, and we tried to do this and we did it. And I am so happy that you are here to bring us this fun and joy. So thank you so much for doing this for us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
It was truly our pleasure. And I guess the only way to really end this is the way that we've always ended it, I think, every year that I've ever done this, which is the bar's open. Thanks, folks.
We'll see you next year at the Fox. We're all going to have shots, both in our arm and in our glass, and we're going to vote. Thank you very much. Congratulations to everybody who entered and all the way.
Thanks, everyone.
Hey, thank you.
It was awesome.
That's great.
That was
I didn't-
fantastic.
Let's do it again. Can we start from the beginning and do it all over again? I didn't like that. During that, I was going, what is that sound in the background while I'm talking?
Oh my God.
And I thought it was, oh, that's me, because I had a little too much for lunch.
We should just do our top of our heads next time. And is someone who contacted you just? We should do it where it's just twin domes. Looks like a couple of nuclear reactors.
Okay, cool. You ready? I'll do a couple different ones, okay?
Looks so handsome.
Hey. All right. I'll do one more.
Okay. I love that.
The honor awards. Oh,
Sorry. Screwed up.
quiet.
Oh, Lisa, you're so glamorous.
I'm Tom Dorenzo. Find out how many times I say the F-bomb.
Wait, can we do that again? I
Wait, let me get, wait, let me kill my camera. Hold on.
Camera, Tom.
In the beginning, CJ, when I'm saying that they will bleep out the word fuck, bleep out the word fuck.
I will.
Oh, yeah, you should do that. Leave it in. Leave it in. In fact, Bailey, can you do like big letters that say fuck on the when you say
No, what you should do is you should do F and then asterisk CK.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I can do that.
I like this, CJ. It's fun for everybody. I mean, we get all dressed up. I got nowhere to go.
I know.
I've got, okay.
What are you wearing?
I'm
What are
sure.
you?